Greetings. In the first video in this series, we spoke about how Islam claims that Noah was a Muslim. Now, and we proved and challenged any ignorant who want to challenge us that Noah was not a Jew or Israeli or Hebrew. Hebrew is a language of the Israelis, and those will come thousands of years after Noah. They were not born back then. Very well. So now we are left with the claim, the Muslims, Quran claims that Noah was a Muslim. How are we going to prove that? Simple. They call their books by the word of God. And once we show Islam from this word of God later on, then all the prophets, all the men of the Lord were Muslim. And they cannot prove that they were Jews or Christians or even from the Israelis. As we did describe before, we explained that. Very well. Let's go now to Abraham. Also, according to the Quran, the Noble Quran of Islam, Surah Al-Imran, ayah number 67, verse 67, says, ما كان إبراهيم يهوديا ولا نصرانيا ولكن كان حنيفا مسلما وما كان من المشركين. Ibrahim was not a Jew or from the Nazarene, the followers of Jesus Christ, the disciples of Jesus Christ. They were not Christians. We'll discuss that later. But he was a true, genuine Muslim. And he was not an idol worshipper, or he worshiped anything apart from Allah. Therefore, according to Islam and Quran, Ibrahim was a Muslim, like Noah. Now, another challenge to any ignorant out there, from those who believe in the Jewish Christian book, prove me wrong. Show us that Ibrahim was a Jew or a Christian. You cannot. Because like we explained in the first video, this Jew title came after Babylon, not before. Now we are stuck with one problem with the Christians and the Jews, because they lie and they say it's written, a lie written in their book, that he was a Hebrew. Now, all I'm asking from you, bring us, books from history that the Bible, because Abraham came from Ur, the city of Ur in Babylon. He left city of Ur and he came to Palestine, to Beersheba, for a start. So bring us in the books of history that the Babylonians used to be called Hebrew. We all know, even today, go to an Israeli and ask him what's the Israeli official language. They will say Hebrew. Hebrew is a name of a language spoken by the Israelis. Abraham was the great-grandfather of the Israelis. He was not an Israeli. They came from his grandson, Jacob. From him, from Jacob, we started to have Israelis, the children of Israel. Therefore, Abraham cannot be an Israeli or a Jew, and he also cannot be a Hebrew, like the book lies and say he was a Hebrew, because Babylonians were never known to be Hebrews. This is a big lie in the Jewish Tanakh or Christian Old Testament. Go search the history books. If you find me making mistake here, correct me. Look under the video. You have my email. Send me an email with the correction. Go study. Educate yourselves. Snap out of your illiteracy and ignorance. So it's a big mistake in your book that Abraham was a Hebrew. He was not. Stop being ignorant. Babylonians are Babylonians, not Hebrews. Very well. So now again, we are stuck with the same problem. Since Abraham was not an Israeli or a Jew or a Jewish, he wasn't a Christian because he came thousands of years before the Christ, so-called Christ by Christians, such a funny name. They invent so much, and all are evil and sad. Jesus never knew this word Christ. He didn't speak English. Anyway, we'll talk about that. Just hold onto your horses. We have a long discussion ahead of us. Very well, so Abraham, according to Quran, that came 1438 years back, Abraham was a Muslim. And we challenge all the ignorant who wish to challenge us, prove us wrong. Show us that he was a Jew or a Christian, if you wish. And you cannot. You cannot. Don't even be, so ignorant to try. So therefore, the only claim stands that he was a Muslim. Your books do not claim that he was a Jew or Christian. On the other hand, as the case of Noah is the case of Abraham, when we show you that what you call the Word of God bears testimony that Islam is the order of your God and the teaching of your God, even if you don't know that, you had the books for 2,000 to 3,000 years, and you are so ignorant about the information inside. We'll educate you and we'll show you, we'll help you, in hope that what you keep repeating with ignorance, thou shalt know the truth and the truth shall set you free. Let's see if this is another lie in your book or this is the truth. When we show you the truth, let's see if you can follow that. And let's see those stupid who attack Islam can learn a thing or two. Very well. So now, so far, Quran says they were Muslim. Noah and Abraham were Muslim. Also Adam. But did not mention this in the Quran. But obviously all the men of the Lord were Muslim since the beginning of time. Very well. Let's go next, to Jacob. Oh, before Jacob, there is another man, the nephew of Abraham, the son of his brother. His name is Lut, alayhi salatu wasalam. And Quran says, وأخرجنا من كان فيها من المؤمنين فما وجدنا فيها غير بيت من المسلمين. The angels are speaking to Abraham and they said, Abraham was questioning, but Lot is living with those Sodom and Gomorrah and his family. You're going to destroy them? Those said, no, we're not going to destroy Lot and his family except his wife. He said, what about, if we found few Muslims among those Sodom and Gomorrah, some believers among those stupid homosexuals? So the angel said, we looked through the whole cities. We couldn't find but one Muslim family, and that's Lot and his daughters, not his wife. So according to Islam, according to Quran, Lot was a Muslim. Also another prophet that we challenge. Anybody so ignorant to challenge us, to show us that he was a Jew or a Christian. Israelis were not born yet. Jacob was not born yet, Israel, the father of the Israelis. Judah was not born yet, the father of the Jews. So you cannot prove us wrong. But we have a testimony here, the only testimony under the heavens, that those men were Muslim. And you cannot challenge that. Also, the case of Noah and Abraham alayhim salatu wasalam applies to Lot. When we show you that the Word of God has a great testimony on behalf of Islam, then those men were Muslim. And Quran told us the truth. But thou shalt know the truth, but the truth shall not set you free. Dear Christians, Very well. Let's go next to Jacob. According to Quran, Jacob was about to die. He was on deathbed, and his sons around him, the 12 sons. And Quran says, أم كنتم شهداء إذ حضر يعقوب الموت إذ قال لبنيه ماذا تعبدون من بعدي قالوا نعبد إلهك وإله آبائك إبراهيم وإسماعيل وإسحاق إله واحد ونحن له مسلمون. When Jacob alayhi salatu wasalam, asked his children, what you gonna worship after I die, after me? They said, we are gonna worship your Lord and the Lord of the fathers, Ibrahim, Ishmael, and Isaac. One Ilah, one Lord, and we are unto him Muslims, on the religion of Islam. No submission, stupidity. Islam does not mean submission. Islam means the name of the religion that the Lord sent to mankind. Again, you cannot prove that Jacob والسلام, was an Israeli. He was Israel, the father of the Israelis. He wasn't an Israeli. He was the father of the Israelis. He wasn't a Jew, because Jews come from his fourth son, Judah, after Babylon, not before Babylon. Judah tribe kept to be called Israelis until they went to Babylon and came back from Babylon to Palestine at the hand of the Persian king Cyrus, and a stupid trick from a harlot named Esther and her uncle Mordecai, who tricked the king Cyrus of Persia, caused the death of his prime minister and his wife, and then allowed the Israelis to go back to Palestine. This Esther was a real harlot, and she managed with her uncle to do all that harm. Anyway, so again, you cannot prove that Jacob was an Israeli. He was Israel himself. You cannot prove that he was a Jew, because Jews will come from the fourth son, Judah, after hundreds of years or thousands of years, because according to my research, the Israelis, Jacob and his sons after him, lived in Egypt for over 1,000 years, 400 of them in slavery, and 40 years in the desert, over 1,000 years in Egypt. But this is not the time to discuss that. Therefore, another prophet and man of the Lord, alayhi salatu wasalam, Yaakov, you cannot prove that he was an Israeli or a Jew, for the reasons that we listed before. But Quran says he was a Muslim. We're stuck with the same problem as the case of Noah, Abraham, Lot, is the case of Jacob, alayhi salatu wasalam. When we prove and we show a testimony on behalf of Islam from the God of the Jews and the Christians in the Jewish Christian book that he orders Islam, then all the men of the Lord were Muslim, and Quran told us the truth. But this time, Christians shall know the truth, but the truth shall not set them free, because they are so lost. Very well. Next time we will move to another man of the Lord. We'll continue this series to show those stupid who attack Islam how miserable they are. Don't blame Islam for the actions of few stupid terrorists like ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and similar fractions. Islam is not responsible for the stupidity of those small fraction. Be safe. Till next time.